What a pleasure to have you here, sir. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today.
Yeah.
When did you first start selling poppies?
Well, 52 years ago, so I don't know, about in the 1950s, was it?
Was it?
Yes.
Was it always in the same place?
More or less, yeah.
So this is the shop is Wilkinson's. It's in Leighton Buzzard, and so I suppose everybody must know you now.
More or less, yeah, I suppose so.
Well, that's the very modern part of it, isn't it? Because you're not only the British Legion and poppies,
right.
but you're a huge supporter of Prince Harry's Invictus Games for injured servicemen and women. And so for you, what is your connection, your family connection with the services and the war?
Well, I was in the Service Corps and in North Africa, you know, running up and down the desert and then climbing the pyramids, and we were in Cairo. So that was interesting.
I'll bet.
Of course, I was befriended by a soldier who had been in the First World War, and of course he knew the ropes quite a bit, so that was quite good.
Yeah.
And then I was in a workshop unit, and I managed to get a motorcycle so that I could, you know, when we were in Italy, I managed to have a good look round Italy. 2 years in Italy.
Yeah.
Then after the war, I spent 6 months in Vienna there. And, of course, Vienna was split into 4, and we were billeted in a big abattoir. And the Russians used to bring all the cattle there to get them slaughtered for them to have the food, see?
Yeah.
So that was rather interesting.
And your father was fought in World War One, didn't he?
Sadly, he died the day before Armistice because he had Spanish flu.
So this was the big flu epidemic. Yeah. And so that meant that he'd gone all the way through the First World War, been a survivor, had fought for his country in the First World War, and then taken the day before.
Oh, that's right, the day before Armistice. Yeah,
that's you've brought his medals here today. What tell us about these? Is it all right if I take it out of the bag? I won't do if they're terribly fragile.
Can you manage?
Well, actually, no. There we are. I can do now. There we are. Let me take these out really, really carefully. So, so the medals that you've brought here today. Tell us about those. What are those?
Well, I think those were General Service medals. He was in the Royal Artillery, you see.
Yeah.
So I don't know a lot about it because I was only 3.
Of course.
When he died, you see. So I
that's
didn't really know him.
That's a big old one, isn't it?
That is,
one.
yeah,
I suspect it probably doesn't go on there. But what about the ones that you're wearing? What are your medals?
Well, that's the Italian Star.
Yeah.
And the General Service. I don't know what the others are. I've got so many.
You've got so many medals, you know. Well, obviously, as I said before, you've been selling these poppies for quite some time, but you've got no plan of stopping anytime soon, do you?
Well, not while I can still do it. And as I say, Wilkinson's are very good. I can sit inside there.
They look after you well.
Yeah. And what I like, you know, people come up and they put money in and they say, oh, we've got a poppy, you know, so they're very generous, really.
What is your secret, Walter, to a long life? 103 is not bad. That's not bad going.
Tell us, we want to know.
Well, a bit dull, really. Non-smoker, teetotaler, that's me.
It's not
well, I drink a little wine, but not a lot.
You have seen in your life, you've seen so many changes, so many new things.
Yeah.
If you think about the things that you've seen, what's the most amazing thing that you've seen? The changes in your life, do you think?
Well, I think the thing is that when I was a young fellow, there was hardly any motor cars about. You just walked or cycled wherever you were going. So that was the fascinating part about it. Like I worked in the printing works when I first started. I was a apprentice comp machinist, and I used to get eight for every line that I had printed. You know, I used to do a bit of reporting. I used to follow the football team at wing, and you know, get about a quarter of a column, perhaps. You know. So that was handy. That was a little bit of extra money.
Take you a second now to write it on a laptop, post
exactly
it out on the internet, you know,
Instantly.
all of those things.
We didn't have the internet then. I'm a bit lost.
Walter, thank you so much
you.
for coming today.
Well, thank you.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir, and thank you very much indeed for bringing those medals as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well,